History remembers Heraclitus the Obscure as a sage, the man who renounced the throne of Ephesus to play knucklebones with children near the temple. This was no display of enlightenment. By walking away, Heraclitus intentionally abandoned his people to a mob he knew was incompetent. It was a strategic surrender of the highest order. Around 500 BC, the Ionian coast was shaken by two forces, the encroaching Persian Empire and a growing internal fever for democratic rule, and the old aristocratic world was collapsing. Heraclitus possessed the logos, a sophisticated grasp of the underlying laws of reality, yet he chose to watch from the sidelines as the city he was born to lead tore itself apart. When the intellectual elite refuse the responsibility of command, they don't preserve their purity. They simply hand the steering wheel of civilization to the blind and the mediocre. But imagine the pivot. Instead of eating grass in the mountains, the prince of Ephesus decides to test his philosophy in the real world. He steps in and initiates a calculated, brutal coup. He secures his reign by negotiating with King Darius. They forge a meritocratic dictatorship, a system where the Ephesian intellect provides the direction and the Persian military provides the muscle. This alliance changes everything. By crushing the Ionian democratic revolt before it can spread, the decades of Greco-Persian Wars never take place. The heroic stands at Marathon and Thermopylae are deleted from history. They become insignificant skirmishes that no one bothers to record. Look at this map. A global superpower emerges centuries early. Greek thought and Persian efficiency merge into an unstoppable machine spanning 3 continents. It's so dominant that the Roman Republic is absorbed while still a collection of mud huts. Heraclitus argued that war is the father of all. By institutionalizing that struggle into a state ideology, he builds a society designed for perpetual expansion. In our timeline, we followed Aristotle. His physics focused on fixed categories and static logic, which effectively stalled our scientific growth for 2,000 years. Heraclitus believed the universe was eternal fire, an endless process of energy conversion. In his empire, the state focuses its research on thermodynamics and the physics of change. Because they prioritize power over biology, Alexandria triggers a full-scale industrial revolution by 200 BCE. They begin harnessing steam and heat, while our ancestors were still fighting with iron swords. With a 1,200-year head start, technology reaches its logical conclusion. By 1000 AD, this society is landing ion-propelled probes on Mars, while our actual history was stuck in the mud of the Dark Ages. This progress carries a heavy price, a society of cold rationalism. Zero concept of individual rights, only your utility to the logos. You are either a functional gear in the machine, or you are discarded. Devotion to the state moves human evolution onto a much steeper, more violent curve, trading away the soul for the sake of the objective. But that empire was never built. In reality, Heraclitus died alone. He was covered in cow dung, trying to cure his own illness through a delusional belief in the heat of nature. It was a pathetic end for a prince. He suffered from the classic intellectual flaw, the belief that simply knowing the truth was enough to change the world. Philosophical insights are nothing but noise in the wind until they are backed by the power to enforce them. If you have the rare gift of sight in a world of the blind, you cannot stay in the cave. Your responsibility is to take the masses by the throat and lead them toward the light. If you understand how the world works, don't just talk about it. Use that knowledge to build something, because power is a fire, and once it goes out, the darkness returns.